So, I really didn't have like a lot of footage to make a full video this week, so I decided to drop the full length story time. So we gonna get into it. So, if y'all seen the little snippet I dropped, um, it was about a husband and his wife. So we gonna get into the full breakdown, okay? So back around, I want to say it was 2015, 2016 ish, and my friend, we gonna give her a name. Her name's gonna be Secret. So Secret, she grew up in a two-parent household, and she was very well raised, well mannered as too. And by like the end of our high school year, I say she after we graduated, she lost her mom. And when she lost her mom, she also lost her father in a way too, because he was so heartbroken when excuse me, I think I'm coming down with a cold, y'all. But he was heartbroken, so, and he had like a little mental breakdown. So they had to like relocate, and when they relocated, they had to separate. Um but they're back together now, and so, but this was back then. So she had relocated, and she was like homeless. She didn't have nowhere to go and no one to really rely on. She didn't have a big family, and then her family was so divided to what she did have. She couldn't really stay with none of her people. So she was bouncing around, and then she finally ended up moving in with one of her friends, and they was cool. It was cool for a while, and then one night her friend was like, "I'm finna throw a kickback," because back then when between them years, that's when kickbacks was the stuff. So she was like, "All right, cool," and she was like, "I also have a friend that's gonna come to this kickback, and I think he like you, or he think you pretty, and he wanted to meet you because he saw a picture of you in my room, that of me and you." And so she was like, "Oh, okay, okay." So she was like, "I'm gonna introduce you when he get here." So the party is cool, everyone vibing, having a good time. Kickback is a kickback. So by the time he walk in the door, we're gonna give him a name. His name is gonna be Cisco. So when Cisco walked in the door, he was like, "What's up, friend?" And he was like, "What's up?" And so they instantly like locked eyes with each other, cause my homegirl, Secret was sitting right there like on the couch as soon as he like walked in, and he was like, "Okay." So they talked, that night. They had a few drinks. They smoked together. It was like real cool. She said like the vibe was cool, the whole everything. So then, after that, after the kickback, they exchanged numbers and stuff, and they was just like texting back and forth, talking to each other. He'll bring her food, or he'll come see her, and it was like stuff like that. He'll smoke with her, drop her off and stuff, because he knew that she was like, she told him like, "I'm down on my luck. This is my situation," and he was just like, "Oh, being a shoulder to lean on type shit." So it got to the point where I don't know if like I think her friend got a little jealous for whatever reason. But they ended up like kind of bumping heads, and she was like basically told her like, "I can't get down with people that be hanging around and sleeping with married men." Now, my Secret never touched Cisco. They never did anything at this point. So my friend is like, that's messed up that you would say that, and you think that I would sleep with someone that I literally just met, and it's not the case. So then it did really, like, they was like bumping heads, but that went past her head about the Mary part, because also Secret was like, where is this coming from? Because I don't mess with nobody that's married. I'm not that type of girl. That's not me. And you should know that, but I guess you don't. And so, anyway, Secret ended up leaving. She just couldn't stay there. So she ended up going to this woman's shelter. And then when Cisco found out or whatever, he was coming there and seeing her and all that. And so they was like really vibing, y'all. They was like really vibing. Now this is like three weeks in that they vibing. So I want to say one night they was like chit chatting and talking or whatever, and they went to go get something to eat. And so when they pulled up to the window, because I'm not gonna say where the wife worked at, but it was his wife's job, y'all. So he pulled up with Secret in the car to his wife's job. They got some food. Wife in the window talking everything. He introduced them. He was like, "Oh, this is Secret. Secret is such and such friend." And she was like, "Oh yeah, I know such and such. She cool. Yeah, hey, how you doing?" And she was like, "I think I heard about you. I think she was telling us about you." Woo. So Secret was like, "Oh hey, woo." So when they pulled off or whatever, got their food, she was like, "Oh, is that your friend or is that your sister?" She was like, "She cool." And he was like, "That was my wife."
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And Secret was taken back. And so then now it's like, that's what my friend was talking about. Like, she was talking about you. So she like, because like he was giving off the impression that he really, like, Cisco really liked her. Like, he told her, like, I like you, you beautiful, you the type of girl that I go for, and stuff like that. He was like pursuing her, like, like I said, buying her food, buying her what she need, being a listening ear. Like, he was like, what they call them men, the lavender, no, not lavender, I can't think of what they call them men, but anyway, he was a gentleman. Like, she was like really wooed by him. So when she found out, she was like, hold on. So you just, I thought we was kicking it, we was cool. You married, woo woo. And Cisco was like, don't worry, my wife, she's not like that. Like, she cool. She know about you. I told her I like you. I told her about that. So now she like, what? So then she was just like, yeah, that's why I brought you up here to the job so you can meet her. And so then after that, Secret was just like, okay, but then she had stopped rocking with him. Like, she died down for about like 2 weeks. So then he ended up popping up at the shelter or whatever, and he was just like, dang, where you been at? I haven't talked to you, haven't talked to me. And she was just like, I'm cool on that because you married and whatever. And he was like, I told you my wife is cool. And he was like, Secret was like, she might be cool, but I'm not cool. I don't do that. Like, I don't care what y'all got going on. And he was just like, oh, why don't you come to the house? Come to the house. I never showed you my house. I told you I got a house. Come to the house. So Secret was like, is she there? And he was like, no, she out shopping or whatever. And so she like denied it. She was just like, no, I'm not gonna do, no, I can't do that. So fast forward a few nights later is another kickback. Now by this time, Secret and a friend, they always had a relationship. So she ended up kicking back with her friend or whatever. She went to her kickback. Now this time, the same thing. Cisco was coming to the kickback, but this time he bought his wife. Now let's give the wife a name. We're gonna call her Sierra. So now Cisco and Sierra walk in the door, and she just like taken back, like, she vibing, not paying no attention, all that. So the wife, I kid you not, the wife, bless you, the wife, bless you. I told y'all we got allergies in here tonight. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, so the wife walk up like to her, like she get a friend of her, and then she walk up. She walked up to Secret, and she was like, "Girl, I love the way you did your lashes. I got some lashes. Can you please help me put my lashes on?" And so then she was like, Secret was like, yeah, okay, I can help you put your lashes on. So they go in the bathroom. So while they in the bathroom, Secret is doing her lashes. So she was like, "Where you from? And how old are you? And what? Small talk." So they did a little small talk, but she ain't let her know too much. But she did a little small talk because it's like you asking me these questions, and I'm pretty sure your husband done told you because he told me that y'all talked about me. So why are you asking me these questions? The answers you already know. But anyway, so they did she did her last, and she was like, okay, these are cute. They went on with the kickback or whatever. They left. So then about an hour later, right, Cisco hit up Secret like, come outside. I want to see you. And so then she was like, Cisco was like, I'm gonna drop you off. You don't have to, take the bus or whatever to the place. I ain't got my wife. So then she was like, okay. So then she hopped in the car, and he was taking her back to the shelter. And so then he was just like, yeah, see, I told you, my wife is cool. Like, me and my wife is like best friends. Like, we grew up together. We was high school sweethearts. We had our first baby together, which was my son. My second baby, which is our daughter. And then we got the two little girls. And, we like to have fun. Me and my wife like to have fun. So she was like, that's good, but I'm still not rocking with him. So after that, he dropped her off, and then I think she got in trouble because she was late. So when she was late, they pointed her for that. And you can only be late so many times before they kick you out or whatever. So I guess she missed the points, and she got kicked out. So she didn't want to go back to her friend's house. So she tried another shelter, and she didn't like that. And so then that's when he was like, why don't you spend the night at my house? My wife is going out with my sister and some of they friends, and you could just spend the night with me. So she was like, I don't know about that. And he was like, if it's fine, just come on or whatever. And so then she got to the house, and when she got to the house, she brought a friend with her from the shelter because she didn't want to go alone. She didn't know what she was getting into. So Secret and her friend go over there, and then they was sitting there, and the wife was getting ready with the sister and the friends, and after that they went out, and then after they went out, they stayed the night. Secret told me that then nothing happened that night. It was just they just went to sleep. So after that, that's when the next morning, though I don't know what happened. I don't know if the wife didn't get back until after she left, but in the next morning, that was the first time where Secret and Cisco had intercourse. Wow. So that was that, and then Secret did feel bad about that because it's like, damn. But then she didn't, because it's like, you said your wife is down, but that still go against her morals. So she was like feeling down about that. So then after that, that's when they left, and then I guess the wife came home, whatever. So then I want to say 2 days after that, he came and picked her up, and they did some little errands and stuff. He went shopping for her, and he was taking care of her. So he went shopping, got her some stuff, got her a new purse, new wardrobe, hair done, nails done, everything did. So she like, all right. Then they pull up in front of his house. So she like, is the wife in there? Because I don't want to deal. If I'm going to be messing around with you, even if she knows she cool, I'm not going to be in this woman's face, because that's not right. I don't care. So then he was like, no, she not in there. Girl, so they go in the house. Girl, why is the wife in the house? She's in the house, sitting right there on the table. Like, as soon as you open the door, it's like soon, I remember the house. As soon as you walk in the house, on the right side, it's like a little cubby area where you can do your living room, basically living room. Then there's a big ass dining room section to the left. So the wife is sitting right at the dining room table, rolling her up a blunt, y'all. I kid you not. So she looked at him, and she sat at the table, and so then the wife, Sierra, was like, hey, girl. So Secret was like, hey. So then she was just like, you want to smoke? We finna smoke, girl. We finna get into it. And so then she was like, okay, Sierra, that's cool, whatever. So then he go in the room, Cisco go in the room. So they sitting at the table. They got the blunt leg, just talking shit, listening to music. So he tell Sierra like, hey, I'm finna hop in the shower or whatever before the kids come home and we get our day started. So she was like, okay, cool, woo, woo. So she like, you rolling with us today? And so then Secret was like, yeah, shit, I guess I am. Hold on, I'm thirsty, y'all. Okay, y'all. So where was I? Okay, so he go hop in the shower. So he's in the shower for a good like 2 minutes. He calls Sierra. He like, Sierra, come here. So Sierra go in the bathroom. She in the bathroom for like, I don't know, a few minutes. She come out the bathroom. She was like, he wants you. So Secret was like, what? So she was like, he wants you. Go see what he wants. He wants you to come take a shower with him. And I'm like, when Secret told me that, I was just like, girl. But we ain't gonna get into my reaction when she told me the story. We just gonna tell her story. So Secret was like, what are you talking about? So Sierra was like, girl, he wants you to come in there and get a shower with him. Go get a shower with him. And so then she was like, that's, go ahead. So then she went to the shower and she was just like, oh, did you want something? Did you want me to grab you something or something? And he was like, come hop in the shower with me. Get in the shower with me. And so then she was like finna turn and leave out. But when she turned to leave out, why Sierra is standing there naked? It's like as soon as she got up to go towards the bathroom, Sierra dropped her clothes. And so then she brushed past us. She was like, oh, more water for us. And so then she was just standing there. Secret was just like, what the fuck? So then the wife is Sierra is in the shower now. And so they taking a shower. And then Secret, so Jay was like, come on. Come on, get in the shower, get in the shower. So Secret was just like, all right, fuck it. I'm gonna get a shower. So they're all in the shower. They're washing each other up. They're, doing little kinky stuff in the shower. And it's just crazy. So they get out the shower. When they get in the room, so she got a towel, she got her clothes. And so then she was thinking like, is this why you bought me the new clothes? So when I get out my clothes I'm in now, I can switch it to something new. Like, what's going on? So she was like, I'm gonna put it on my new outfit. And she was like, but it's in the car. So he was like, oh shit. And he was like, well, the car is in the garage, so just lead through the back door. Because she had a towel on, so she thought the car was still, like, in the front. And he was like, no, I pulled it in the garage. Just go get the bag out the garage. So Secret go get the bag out of the garage, and then she come back in the house, y'all. So when she come back in the house, y'all, why would she go in the room so she can start getting dressed? They in there hunching. They is in there hunching. And so then she was just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to get changed in the bathroom. So then I guess he stood up and, got out of Sierra and was walking towards us. Was like, no, you finna join the party. And she was like, join what? So then he was like, come on, you finna join the party. So after that, she was like, okay. And she hopped in that bed, y'all. Now, don't judge my friend. I never judge my friend. And y'all not finna judge my friend either. This is a safe zone. We all done did some weird stuff at some point in our life, okay? But let's get back into it. So, so they rumbling in the bedroom. WWE SmackDown. So, after they get done, so then that's when Secret was like, what is this? Like, this is weird. Like, what do y'all got going on? What is this? Like, do y'all normally do this? Like, with people? Do y'all recruit girls? What is this? So, this is when Sierra speaks up. Sierra was like, I've been with him for a very long time. And this is what we do. I like females, and this is how we get down. And so, basically, he pick up the females, and if you approve of them, everything is a go. And so then she was like, pretty much, yeah, you a pretty girl, you are you beautiful, and you seem like a good 10, and you seem like what we need in our relationship, so you should join our relationship. And Sierra was like, I'm gonna stay the wife. you could be his girlfriend. That's fine. You can have a wife and a girlfriend. And this is how they lied to my friend, because they said they never did this before, but this is the first time that she actually approved of the girl, because any other girl he liked, she just, it was just something that she just didn't like about him. But for this instance, it was something about Secret where she liked Secret too, so she was like, yeah, this is the one. And so they talked, and so then so they was like, what do you do, what do you feel like you want to be a part of that, because you could leave the shelter, you could live here, you could stay with us. And so Secret was like, that's cool, but I don't plan on being here, because I plan on getting my own place, doing my own stuff. We can still do this or whatever, but I don't plan on living with y'all full time. I want y'all, that to be straight out the door. I have goals. Clock it. So I was like, wow. So, but I'm gonna stop telling how I feel. We'll get to how I feel at the end. But so, cause I like, as I'm telling y'all this story, it's like I'm recreating when me and her was talking about it, and I'm just like, but anywho, so they talked, and that's what the situation was gonna be. Now, she left the shelter. When she left the shelter, she did go back with the friend for a little minute before she moved in with them. And then it's a little situation with the friend, y'all. Oh my God. But we will get, that's another story time. So she is, so after that, she ended up finally was like, you know what? F it. I'm just gonna move in with them. They've been taking care of me, they've been feeding me, they've been clothing me. I'm gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna stay here. Now, when she decided to stay here, what she didn't know is not only was is just like Cisco and Sierra, but also the kids. Then Cisco's sister was staying with them with her kids. Then it was a mechanic that he had living in the garage, which she went to go get that bag clothes with her towel on, and whole time the mechanic is sleeping on the couch, but she didn't recognize it because she thought it was just their house. He's sleeping on the couch. Who knows if he snuck a peek? So the mechanic lives there too. So it's like, okay, this is hold on. She was like, the first two times I came here, it was just only y'all. Now that I'm officially like staying here now, all these people and all these kids are here, like, wow. So not only that, so she's staying there and it's cool, but now his friends are coming over, and when his friends coming over, everybody got drinks, everybody got weed, everybody got whatever they gonna do. And she saw a whole new side of Cisco. She was like, Cisco, what is going on? Because Cisco was, young man, move that dope. Yeah, young man, move that dope. He was one of them. So she was just like, wait a minute now, you moving, young man, moving that dope. You doing that? You pushing the white powder? So he was like, yeah, I gotta get this money. So it was like, okay. So then I want to say maybe a month and 2 weeks went past, and then that's when they was like, okay, you staying with us, but now you gotta come up off some cash. You gotta get a job, or you think about getting a job, like what you gonna do, or all this, and like what works best for you, like what's going on, because I know you plan on like getting your own stuff, but can you contribute a little bit while you here type shit. So she was like, no problem or whatever. So she told them that Secret said that I can, put her business out there, but not put her business out there. But Secret, she did a couple of things on Backpage when Backpage was popping. So when she found out that Backpage was back popping, because remember, Backpage was big, but then remember Backpage shut down, but then remember when they came back. So she when Backpage came back, she put out an ad. So she was putting out ads and she was getting calls out here. So she was like, this is what I do. I do Backpage, and Backpage was for many of things. You know what I'm saying? So she was just like, she told them like, I do Backpage and I can get a couple of hundreds every night doing this shit. So they agreed or whatever to be her driver. So she did a couple of of John's or whatever, got her money, woo, woo, was helping out. Everything was cool. And then it got to the point where lost her job. Uh, she had to go and do the temp jobs. So she was like, "You should work with me now that I don't work at my job no more. Let's work together." And well, I don't want to say she lost her job. G, honestly, y'all, Cisco made her quit. Cisco made her quit. He was in her ear talking stuff, and she quit that job. And yeah, so now she had to go. When she realized that that's not what she wanted to do no more, that's when she started to work for the temp jobs. And then she was like, told Secret like, come on and work with me at the temp job. So Secret stopped doing the back page stuff for a while, and then they started doing these temp jobs. Well, the temp jobs didn't last. They really didn't. Y'all know how the temp jobs go. So it was like, okay, back to business. So she like, so when it fell through, so she got back doing what she was doing or whatever. So when one night, right, it was crazy. So one night they're out and she's making her money. She done. They go get, food and stuff for the kids. They on their way back to the house. And do you know that his friends are at their house already? They already in the crib. Like 3 niggas is already in the crib with 2 bitches. And it was just crazy. So it was like, what the hell? They get back to the house. When they get back to the house, they joined in the party. Everybody partying. And then next thing you know, one of the friends, we gonna call him P, because he thought he was a PIMP so bad. So the P was like, I got a shorty coming through. She at the door. Let's let her in. So we gonna give Shorty a name. So Shorty name is gonna be Peaches. So Peaches walking the door. So Peaches walking the door. She loud. She already drunk. Looking for some more liquor. And it was just like she was a vibe for that first night. She was cool. So it was vibing, everybody was vibing. And so then that night, Sierra and Peaches started to click. Like they started to click or whatever. So then like after the party, after that they leave or whatever. The next morning, because everybody stayed the night. So the next morning, all the extra people that don't stay there left. And so then that's when they was like, Sierra was like, so what y'all think about Peaches though? And so then Secret was like, I don't like her. It's something about her energy. It's something about, it's just, when you can just get that feeling. Like she definitely judged the book by the cover, but she knew she judged right because the book was toxic. Like Peaches was just, she was like one of them loud ass, obnoxious, just gutter ass, like ratchet ass. Like, don't girl, I love my ghetto ratchet girls. I love y'all. I do. But sometimes sometimes y'all could be, you mix that with a little bit of the thought, and with the ratchet, it could get a little rocky sometimes. But I love y'all though. So anyway, so she was like, I don't like her. It's something about her. I just don't like her. I'm just not feeling her vibe. The bitch seemed like she was really on my man. And now Sierra was like, yo, man. Oh, yeah, shit. That is your man, too. I said that could be your man, too. Because now Sierra was feeling some type of way because now Secret is calling, Cisco her man. And so then I guess she shouldn't have told Sierra that, just vented to her. And so now Sierra, she know that Secret don't like Peaches. So she kind of was like, okay. So then next time when the guys come over, Sierra's the first one like, where Peaches at? Where my girl Peaches at? Peaches needs to, where Peaches at? They were like, oh, you want us to call Peaches over? We finna call Peaches over. Secret instantly like, is there some secret animosity that you ain't never told me? Because I wasn't down with this shit from the get-go. You could have been honest and said, I ain't down with this shit. And I would have left your house that day while he was in the shower. Don't try to loop me into y'all relationship. But like I said, now they in a poly relationship. It's Cisco, Sierra, and Secret. Cisco is the husband, Sierra is the wife, and Secret is the girlfriend. They all do things together. They cook together. They sleep together. Like they are in a like real poly relationship. And you know how poly relationships, the men could have 4 or 5 different females. But in Secret's eyes, she thought it was just gonna be her and Sierra, especially once they said they don't do this. This is their first poly relationship. They've been wanting to do this. They had maybe freaked on a couple of girls and sent them along their way, but they never kept the girl until Secret came along. So Secret thought like we finna be locked in, cause like what the hell, y'all helping? Like they was really helping Secret too. Like they was taking her to all her appointments, all her viewings of looking for apartments, because she was stacking up money. She was stacking up money. So they was like doing all that, and then they even took they took 2 trips together, y'all. I forgot to add that in. Like it was like Valentine's weekend, and he picked up Secret, and then they like went to like they drove or whatever, went out of town, got a nice hotel room. He treated them real nice, and they was in the jacuzzi, had breakfast. It was just like it was like that Neo. You know how Neo got his, like that's like you been, that's like you coming from the hood and you meet a Neo and you be in his poly relationship. Like Neo gonna take care of you. And that's just how it was. Like that's what I should have named the husband. But anyway, so it was just like wow. Like I really thought we was locked in for these few months. Like, but now when another thought, well, I want to say another. Oh, I'm calling my friend a thought. I'm sorry, girl. But you something new walk in the door, all of a sudden that's who you want, that's who you desire, that's your girl. Like that's like wow. Like it's really true with men. Like ain't no PUSSY is better than new PUSSY. Like that's so true. Because as soon as some new cat walked in that door, Cisco ass was just, he was on it. He was thirsty. He wanted her, but he was like, I'm not gonna touch her. I'm not gonna touch her. He kept telling Secret and Sierra like she cool, she cool, like she a vibe, but I don't want that. I don't want that. But yet you letting the girl twerk all on you. You letting the girl sit all on your lap. Y'all sharing a bottle and shit. So what you talking about? And then low key Sierra, she don't like that either, but she really don't like she don't like none of this. Low key Sierra don't like none of this. She just wanted to be her and her man, but she's pleasing her man in the wrong way by giving him what he wants, which is other females. Ladies, do not do that. This is a lesson in this video. Do not do that. Do not be the other woman. And if you are the main woman, do not settle for less to have a man, to have multiple women, because that is not how it's supposed to go. Yes, you're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. That's what it says in the Bible. But it's supposed to be with one man and one woman, not one man, not one woman. No, I'm sorry, not one man and multiple women. Like, no. And somebody's gonna get hurt out the situation. Hold on, y'all. I gotta take another sip. Okay, so where was we? Okay, so like yeah, so she like thought we was locked in, but now this bitch Peaches come through the door. Y'all like this bitch? What's up with this bitch? So one night, it got to the point where everything was getting to Sierra too, and Sierra was getting to like she was going through a lot, dealing with like her mom being sick, and dealing with like the kids, and dealing with his BS, because they tried to prove like they was the perfect couple, but they really wasn't. Fighting and arguing and shit like that, putting Secret in the middle of it. It was just all toxic. So one night they go out, and then this bitch Peaches is at the house. Like I said in a little snippet, she didn't live there. She didn't like live there, but she was coming there every night. And they was allowing it, and they was partying with her. Like one time, like it was crazy because like that night they went out, they came back, and all these are all adults. Like it was so many people one night because I think it was his sister's birthday, and so some of the people from the birthday party had came back to Cisco and Sierra house, and tell why it was a big ass grown up water fight, y'all. Like it was water being splashed everywhere because Peaches made a mistake and she tripped, and when she tripped she spilled her water on the pee. And so he was like, oh, you want to play? And so he splashed water back on her. Next thing you know, this person grabbing a cup of water, that person grabbing, I don't know where the water balloons came from, but it's kids around the summertime, so water balloons is going to be there. So they filling up water balloons. They playing from the top of the house to the basement of the house. Water everywhere, y'all. It was crazy. And then so then after that, once that died down, Secret had got a couple of calls. So now this time, when Secret was getting a couple of calls, they left because they was the driver. And so Cisco was like tore up, so he really couldn't drive, so he had asked Sierra to drive. Sierra didn't want to drive. And so then she was like, so then Peach was like, I'll ride with y'all. So now all of a sudden Sierra want to drive. So they drive into her little stuff. Now every time Secret come back to the car from what she doing or whatever, she noticed like the tension is getting really thick. But she don't know where the tension is coming from because now for some reason Peaches got a little punk ass attitude. Sierra got a little punk ass attitude. Cisco got a little punk ass attitude. Every time she got out the car, it's like it got thicker and thicker. So now she like, is this something with me? Are we beefing? Is this something with them? Like, what's going on? So then like they driving, and I don't know, like somebody got into it. They was yelling in the car. They hit a pole, spun around, hit the back of the car, spun the car around, and then like luckily everybody was okay, but they got into a bad accident. So when they got back to the house, next thing you know, Cisco and Sierra's outside fighting. So then Secret's trying to get into it, but then Peach is like, girl, mind your business. That ain't got nothing to do with us. And Secret's like, hold on, bitch, because I've been here from A1 since day one. You don't got nothing to do with this, but I do. And so then next thing you know, everybody is arguing. Everybody's arguing, y'all.
What is going on?
Then they end up going to the house. When they go inside the house, everybody go their separate ways. Secret actually stayed up. She went upstairs. They slept downstairs. Now, Secret don't know what happened downstairs because she went upstairs and she went to sleep. She was like, nah. She was just like, she was over it. Took her shower and went to sleep. Didn't even mess with them down there. So then that's when the next morning Sierra want to come up there and have a little heart to heart with her, but she was just like, she ain't tell her. She just knew not to tell her so much. So it got to the point where they kind of hashed it out, but motherfuckers was still feeling some type of way. You know when someone say they over it, but they're not over it, that's the type of shit that they was on. So then that's when it was getting to the point where Secret was like, I gotta get out of here. It's getting too toxic. This is not for me. This is not what I signed up for. Everything was good 2 months ago. But then now we arguing, we fighting, y'all fighting. She trying to move on with her life, and I felt my friend, like when we finally linked up and she told me like everything that's going on and how she feel, and I told her like, girl, you gotta get up out of there. You gotta, if you gotta go back to the shelter, because she couldn't stay with me at the time because I was still staying with my parents, so she couldn't stay with me at the time, and our house was already, it wasn't gonna happen. And so then she was like, you right, and she was like, I gotta get up out of here. So then let's say like a week later, right? Everybody bumping heads. Bitch Peach is still coming over. But now I think that she knew that Secret didn't like her. And it's like she didn't care, but she cared. And it was just like she was just doing little shit to just piss her off. And so then it just got to the point where they had something happen, and it was just too many parties. It was too many like complaints, and it got back to the landlord. The landlord came and did a surprise inspection of the house. And y'all know what them party house trap houses look like. They look a fucking mess. So the landlord was like, "Oh no, y'all got to go." And y'all kind of behind on rent. Which Secret didn't know that, because Secret's like, I'm paying to stay here. So what are y'all doing? Like, y'all made it seem like y'all just had like the perfect marriage, a wife and a husband and they 4 kids, when y'all really messed up. It's a tornado of shit going on up in here. So that's when the landlord was like, "Yeah, y'all gotta go. I'm putting an eviction notice. Y'all got 30 days to find somewhere to go." And so then they end up sweet talking. The landlord was like, "Can you at least please give us 60 days to find somewhere to go?" She was like, "Okay." Luckily, the landlord was nice enough and like, "I give you 60 days, but y'all got to get up out of here." So they took a trip, right? So it was Secret, Cisco, and Sierra. They took a trip out of the state. And when they took the trip out of the state, because Cisco has some family out there, so they was like, just checking to see how they like it out there. What should they do? Should they move? Talking to their people. Their people was like, "Yeah, y'all should just come out here and move out here." So then they was like, "Okay, cool." So then that's when they came back to the state that everybody is originally in. And so then they was like, "You know what? We think we gonna make that move." And so Secret was like, "I ain't moving with y'all. This gonna have to be the end of our relationship or what we do, because I can't move. I already been bouncing around, bouncing around, bouncing around. I thought I found something solid here with y'all, and y'all could just, why can't y'all just move somewhere within the state?" And they were just like, "No, it's just not working. And then we just gonna try something different. It's a better opportunity for the kids." And Secret was like, "I could respect that. So if y'all could respect that, y'all could respect that. I cannot go with y'all." So then they was like, "Okay." So then after that, that's when it started to be they started packing up the moving process. And so Secret had ended up reconnecting with her friend. Remember, I told y'all the friend from the beginning. So she ended up reconnecting with her, and she would ask her, like, "Can I just stay here? I'm so close." Like, now Secret was making progress the whole time, because her goal was to get out. She didn't plan on living with them. Like, they thought that Secret was gonna move in with them and live with them, and they can use her for her benefits, because she was getting some benefits because of her mama died. Her mama left her with some good benefits. And so they thought that they was gonna use her for her benefits. And Secret is a smart girl. Secret was like, "Hell to the no."
No, 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 no.
Because they was even like, "We can use your benefits, and we can live better with what we got and what you got, and we can live." No, it don't. No. And so then she was close to getting her stuff anyway. So she told her friend, "I just need 2 months here. 2 months, and then I'm gone. I got my place and everything." So the friend was like, "Okay, that's fine. I'll do that." But but now the friend, she's got word of like everything that was going on between Secret, Sierra, and Cisco. She didn't want nothing to do with none of them. And then Secret is confused, because she like, "You introduced me to him. So why are you so upset when things happen?" And then that's another mystery. We don't know. The friend was bipolar, I guess. So at the end of the 60 days, like, it was just silence. You know, that awkward silence, like, we not talking no more. We not laughing no more. We just, and then they really got mad at her, because they thought that she was gonna help them move and pack up. Secret didn't do none of that shit. She packed up her stuff, took her stuff to her friend's house, and she came back to say her goodbyes. And then they was like, "You really not gonna like move with us?" And she was like, "No, this is the end. This is it." And then let me tell y'all what happened. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna be here, but she had like Secret had like 3 suitcases full of stuff and like 2 little other bags, so she could carry all that on the bus. So the friend was gonna come. The friend went on a trip for her birthday, but the friend said, when I come back from the trip, I'm gonna pick you and your stuff up. Cool. So she just had to stay a week at um Cisco and Sierra house. So that last week, Sierra ends up going to the doctor. Then when she got back from the doctor, she come in the house throwing a fit. Like, oh my God, I knew I shouldn't have did this. You fucking around with females and da 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 da, and now I done caught something. Oh my God. Long story short, Sierra didn't catch nothing, y'all. She had a fucking she had a fucking yeast infection. And the only reason why she had a yeast infection is because you can catch like shit from sitting on like uh dirty toilets and shit. Like I think it's like you can catch an yeast infection. Whatever the fuck the hell the situation was, and the doctor clearly told her. Cause the doctor, well, they was on the phone or whatever, and Secret said that she heard the doctor was like, "No, it's nothing from sex. Is you just probably end up getting some bad bacteria down there, and yeah, now you got a yeast infection." So she blowing up about it. And so then Secret's like, hold on. I know you ain't talking about me. I'm the cleanest bitch y'all ever gonna have and done had. So y'all tripping around here, right? So then, the whole time though, it wasn't even about Secret. Remember when I told y'all that the night that they got into it and Secret went upstairs and she went upstairs and she slept by herself and she didn't know what went on downstairs? Well, apparently now Cisco was freaked on Peaches that night, and then that same night he ended up freaking on Sierra. And then that's when 2 days later Sierra started feeling something weird, and so she could have got bad bacteria from the rubber he used on her, and he basically used the rubber on Peaches and Sierra, the same rubber. And Secret, when they used to do something, Secret would make him switch out rubbers. Like, okay, you did what you did with her, but now you're going to have to put another rubber on because that's cross contamination. So anyway, that's when she ended up catching something, the yeast infection, through that way from messing with that dirty girl Peaches. Because Peaches, she magically stopped coming around after that. She got what she wanted and dipped, which all the time all she wanted was Cisco. So she was trying to be nice to Sierra just to get to Cisco. So yeah, that's what happened. But at the time, Secret ain't know that. So Secret think that all the stuff that the wife is saying is about her. And so then she like went off on both of them. Like Secret went off on both of them. And then she was just like, you know what, I'm gone. So she left that last night. And I guess my friend had to stay in the streets that night. So then the next day when her friend get back in town and pick her up, they go pick her up. They pick up her clothes. And so then they was like, so you really just gonna leave like that? And she was like, I apologize. Sierra was like, I apologize if you thought I was talking about you. I was not talking about you. But by this time, the relationship is out the window. It's all gone. It's all toxic. We fight and party. And low-key's Secret is tired. She was tired of the partying and fighting. She was tired of it. Then Secret at the time, she ain't had no kids. So she's seeing all these kids. Like, she love the babies, but that shit gets annoying. Like, it's all these kids. It's just, y'all carry too much baggage that Secret was not ready for. So Secret, they left. They ended up packing their stuff, moving out of state. She stayed in state. I want to say maybe a year later, Secret's doing good, y'all. My homegirl was doing good, so she got her own place. She doing her thing. So now they come and visit. I don't know why they came and visit, but they came and visit because I think Sierra had lost her mom because her mom. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, the mom was living with them too. But then the mom got tired of everything that was going on. She ended up just getting her own place. But then I think a few months after they moved, she died. And I think this was like they came back like a year later for like, to celebrate her life back at home. So they came back, and so then they was out or whatever. So they called Secret. It was like, hey, we in town. We want to come see you. We want to see how you doing. Did you get your place? Are you doing good? So Secret is like, yeah, like I'm doing good. I got my place. Y'all can come swing by. So they come swing by. They was like, y'all, you mind if we like just spend the night? We just need to spend one night. So Secret was like, look, y'all open up y'all home to me. Y'all ain't even gotta ask. All you gotta say is like, come on now. Y'all more than welcome. Y'all open, come on. So they end up like they was like, doing what they doing. So the nighttime come, they come over. So he tried to be all up on Secret, and Secret was like, that's dead. And then Sierra thought that she can do her charisma on Secret and get her to go, and she shut that down. She was like, no, that what we did and back a year or so ago, I mean, no, a year ago, we not doing that no more. I'm not screwing y'all. We're not finna lay down. We not finna do that. And so then they was like, okay. And so then they kind of felt some type of way. And then they tried to, here's the thing. So then Cisco, I think his nephew called him, and he was like, hey, some stuff was going on or whatever after the get together. And a couple of them wanted to come over and kick it with them, and because they ain't had nowhere to go after the party. And so then they asked, can the cousins come over? And Secret shut that shit down. Secret's like, I don't want all them motherfuckers to know where I live at, where I stay. No. And I don't want no connection with none of them. No, like no. So they got upset. And do you know that when she said no, you think they stayed, y'all? No. They packed up they stuff and left. Okay. Now here goes some more juicy details. So, after that, she haven't heard from them in like, I want to say another year after that, right? Okay, so fast forward now, secret friend, still be having her kickbacks, but this time it was a tattoo kickback. So she went to go get a tattoo at the kickback, and the tattoo artist is actually related to Cisco. So she was like, he was like, I think I seen you before at the crib. You know Cisco and Sierra? And so she was like, yeah, I know them. How you know? He was like, I'm Ken. And so then she was like, oh, how they doing? And he was like, messed up. They messed up because um he was like, I was out there, and I went out there to go visit them to do a tattoo party. And then next thing you know, the police come kicking in the door and arrest everybody. And after they arrest everybody, some of us got let go, but then they got Sierra and Cisco, they still locked up. So then she was immediately was like, what happened to the kids? So then he was like, the kids had to go and they had to be separated and stay with different family members. And on Cisco's side. And so then she was like, dang, that's so messed up. And he was like, yeah, it is. So then after that, he was like, I left, and I ended up coming back down here once I got out of jail, but they still locked up, and the kids thank you. So then the kids was all separated. So she was like, dang, that's messed up. And so then after that, some time passed, and then I think a year later, Secret was outside running some errands, and then lo behold, who do she bump into? She bump into Sierra, y'all. So when she bump into Sierra, she like, oh, you back out here. Y'all, how you and Cisco doing or whatever. She didn't tell her she know what happened from what the cousin told her. So she was just, how y'all doing? So Sierra was like, we hanging in there, but it's not gonna work out with me and Cisco. I'm working on leaving him, and I'm working on getting my kids back. And then Secret was like, yo, kids back, what happened? She was like, girl, we lost our babies. Like when we moved up there to the other state, they didn't play that. And like it just happened to where we lost the children, we got locked up, and now I'm out. Cisco get out in about a week, but I got out like 2 weeks before him, and I left and I came down here, and I'm just because the kids are down here, so I'm trying to work on getting my babies back. So I was like, I can't do this no more with him, and I have to move on. So Secret was like, girl, okay, he's the problem. And so then she was like, not only that, the reason why we got locked up is because of a drug bust. And because remember, I told you he was young and moved that dope. Remember, I told you he was young and moved that dope. So when they kicked that down, and that's all because someone called in on us, and I know who called in on us. Who didn't know y'all? Was it? Who was it? And she was like, so when we moved up there, he was Cisco was on his BS, and he ended up meeting this little this Mexican girl, and once she found out about me, she didn't like that too much, and she wanted to fight me, and we ended up getting into a fight. I beat her ass, and she called the police on us, and they came in, kicked in the door with social services, and took the kids. I was like, what? And so then she was like, yeah. I was like, girl. And so then she was like, girl, I can't deal with that. After the kids are gone, I just can't. So then Secret was like, man, I thought at first you was going to say Peaches had something to do with it. And she was like, let me tell you about Peaches. So we moved. Remember when we moved, right? So Secret was like, yeah. So then she was like, I want to say a month after we moved, Peaches got kicked out her house, and she asked could she come up there and come visit us. So we told her, yeah, you can come visit. So she drove down there to come visit us, and everything was cool for the first 2 weeks. And then she only said she wanted to stay 2 weeks and she was going to leave. When it was time for her to leave, she didn't want to go. So then once after that, and then she was like, we was telling her, like, Peaches, this is not what it is. So then Peaches was just like, oh, my car is acting up. Oh, my car. And then the whole time, Sierra was like, girl, wasn't nothing wrong with your car. Wow, your car is fine. And so then she was like, no, something wrong with my car, so I can't drive back, so I'm going to have to stay here. So that 2 weeks ended up being for 2 months. In the course of 2 months, Peaches ended up burning both of them. Yep, she sure did. And so then after that, they got into it. And then because when I say both of them, because okay, Secret, Cisco, and Sierra, they was in a poly relationship, so they slept together, they had sex together. So but with Peaches, she wanted to be in a poly relationship, but she didn't want to sleep with Sierra. She only just wanted Cisco. So she would just sleep with Cisco while Sierra wasn't around. And then Cisco ended up bringing something back to her. And then she was like, the same thing happened. That's why I was mad that day before we moved. And I came in the house mad after my doctor's appointment because she gave him Dirty D, and that had my yeast infection. That was just a yeast infection, but this time she had a full STD. So I was like, dang. So my girl Secret dodged the bullet. Cause after a while, she just the tension wasn't there. She didn't have the desire to lay down with them no more. So she did it. So y'all, so then after that, um, she was like, wow. So then she was like, yeah. So then she left. Then that's when he went off and met the Mexican girl. And then that's when that happened. And then the police, blah blah blah. So it was like, wow. So now she like, but I'm gonna be going back and forth because I got court dates and stuff. And she like, I still live out there in the other state, but I'm coming out here to fight for my kids. So I said, okay, do your big one, do your big one. And so, oh my goodness, y'all. I've told y'all I'm sick. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sick, so I know y'all hear it in my voice and with me talking, but just hang with me. Though it's a juicy story. I hope y'all like it so far. So then, that's when after they saw each other that day, they went their separate ways. Secret moved on with her life, and they moved on too. Now, and she said, how is everything going now? And Sierra was just like, I'm done. I'm getting a divorce. I already got the paperwork. He left me and the kids. I got the kids back. And I thought when he got out, he came back home to us, but he was still on that BS. And for a little minute, he was dealing with another girl.
Historical. Unbelievable. Amazing.
And when this time it was like they got back together, but he was secretly seeing this other girl. So they ended up going to jail again. Now I don't know what happened with this situation, why they ended up going to jail. Secret don't know either. She ain't tell me because she don't know. So we don't know. So they end up going to jail again. But actually, no, I lied. The first time they went to jail together. The second time, only Cisco went to jail. And then when he got out of jail, Sierra thought that he was going to come back home to her. He ended up going back home to a whole nother girl. And let me remind you, y'all, okay, let me drop some ages around here. When my friend Secret started messing with them, Secret was 21. Cisco was 37. And Sierra was 35. And Peaches was 32. The girl the Mexican chick, she was 18. And then the new girl that he with now is 19. Okay? So now he's 30. He's like 38 dealing with a 17, 18, 19-year-old girls. Okay. So he ended up calling Sierra and telling her, I ain't coming back home. It is what it is. The relationship is over. I don't want you no more. I don't want them kids no more. Have a good life. And hung up the phone. Now, I'm fabricating a little bit because I don't know if the conversation went like that. But moral story, the conversation went like that because that's basically what I took from it. So after that, she was just like, wow. So then she told her, she was like, yeah, I'm done with him. He don't want nothing to do with us. I don't want nothing to do with him. The divorce is finalized and we finna move on with our lives. And so then I'm like, but if he not dealing with you, is he still gonna do what he gonna do for the kids? He said, fuck them kids. And it was like, wow. And so then next thing you know, because they all are like friends on like on social media. So she ended up seeing like the young girl that he was dating, and she was young, y'all. Like I said, she was 18, and she ended up getting pregnant by Cisco. And so now her and Cisco live together, and I think she pregnant. I think she ended up having 2 kids by him. So yeah. And then I think he ended up recently had another baby by her. And so he moved on with her, and they live together, and they, from what I know, they still live together to this day. And they, he just completely abandoned them. Like, he abandoned, like, all the stuff that Sierra put up with, all the stuff the kids had to put up with, because the man, your man runs the household. The man runs the household. The woman, she makes the rules and set the rules and keep the household together. But you are the provider. You are the protector. So how this household is structured is how you do it. So you just damaged the whole household. And when you got tired of dealing with stuff, tired of arguing and fighting, you up and left. Now that's fine if you want to leave your woman, but you left your kids. Then had more kids. That be these people problem, especially in the black community. You leave your girl, your woman, or your guy, but you leave your kids too. You don't do that. So he don't even acknowledge, from what I got from when me and Secret was talking about the situation, from what she do not see him being a father to his first 4 children. The last 3, he daddy, he around, he loving them, and he with them and all that. And then, you know what, karma came back and bit him in the butt. I don't know if he was in a car accident or if it was just something with his health. I don't know. But something happened to where he almost lost his life. And you would think if somebody go through that, they'll try to be a better person for all their children and all the people around them. No. Nope. that ain't right. So he after he did that, and also, he was at the age where he was going through a midlife crisis. Well, like I said, y'all, he almost damn near in his 40s, but he's still dressing like a YN. You're not a YN anymore, sir. You are a mister. You are a grandpa. You are a man. You are a gentleman. You are not a YN. Let it go. Let it go. Like, y'all is crazy. Your face say 45, 50, but your clothes say 20, 21. Make it make sense. But that ain't none of my business. So, y'all, pretty much to wrap up the story, he left his wife and his 4 children, and he moved on with his young girlfriend and 3 kids. They lived happily ever after. And Sierra is doing good for herself now too. Like, she ended up getting a new man in her life that accepts her and only loves her and don't allow her to share her body with anybody else but him. And he, from what I know, is he's cool with the kids or whatever. And so she moved on. Like, she's there for her children. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was rough for them, but at the end, Sierra was always there for her children. And if any one of them ever come across this story, Sierra, I'm proud of you. I am. You don't know me like that. Like I said, I went over there and hung out with them maybe twice because she wanted to know my opinion on them. But they always gave off freaky undercover vibes. But I'm proud of her because she ended up leaving a toxic relationship, whether he left her. But sometimes that's how it gotta be. And she started putting that energy into building her life, building more of a relationship with her children, and being a mom of 4. Where this asshole, Cisco, is out here partying, still drinking, still trying to chase the fast life, the young life, still Young man, move that dope. Young man, move that dope. He's still pushing that. He's just trapped, and he's happy with his situation, I guess, cause the girl taking care of him, or they taking care of each other. But it's just like, damn. And then the young girl, like, I'm pretty sure he has 4 other kids. You don't want them to know they siblings. You don't want them to be together, but I guess not. I guess it's not her issue. But because at the end of, like, when he started messing with the young girl, he still low-key was dealing with Sierra. But then after that, it stopped and he ended up being with her. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. And like I said, Secret is doing good. She making her coins. She moved on with her life. She got her little situation with her family or whatever. She good. And I don't know what happened to Peaches. Secret don't know what happened to Peaches. I don't know. Um, and the other friend, she don't talk to the other friend like that no more. The friend from the beginning, she don't talk to her like that no more. They talk like maybe once a year. But she don't talk to them, and me and Secret still cool. That's my homegirl. But yeah, y'all, that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for rocking with me for this story time. And if y'all like this long story time, I got way more stories to tell y'all. Like, I got so many stories that I could tell y'all about so many people. Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, y'all have a good night and tune in for the next story time of vlog. I love y'all, bee babies.